the Chinese Soviet Republic, from the grueling Long March to the spearhead of resistance against the Japanese aggression. From the calamitous September the 18th incident to China's war of resistance against the Japanese aggression, which ended in China's first complete victory in modern history. From the Communist Party of China's last rural headquarters at Xibaipo, commanding the War of Liberation, to the raising of New China's first national flag, the five-starred red flag in Tiananmen Square. Through a sweeping 28-year struggle to regain national independence and liberate the people of China, the Communist Party of China injected new vitality into this poor and weak Oriental nation. History has shown that Mao Zedong, the man from Shaoshan village who led this arduous revolution, was an exceptional national hero, a leader of the people. The Central People's Government of the People's Republic of China is established today. The founding of the People's Republic of China ushered in a new era in the history of the Chinese nation. Since then, this nation, free from the bullying of others, has begun to explore a socialist path befitting of China's realities, with a view to raising the country's strength and bringing prosperity to all. We cannot discount the period of history that preceded the reform and opening up drive based on what we have achieved since then, nor can we glorify that period of history based on a rose-tinted view of the past. These are two mistakes that we cannot make. This view is important in that it helps us to understand the periods of history before and after the reform and opening up drive, and even the history of the party itself. On December the 18th, 1978, the opening ceremony of the third plenary session of the 11th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China was held at the Jingxi Hotel in Beijing. Today, I mainly want to discuss one question, namely how to emancipate our minds, use our heads, seek truth from facts, and unite as one in looking to the future. At the same time, in an old mud hut belonging to the Shaogang production team in Fengyang, Anhui Province, 18 shabbily dressed farmers pressed their fingerprints on a crumpled piece of paper, signifying their agreement to distribute farmland amongst their households. History was made at that moment. At one end, a leading Chinese statesman, at the other, a group of ordinary farmers. Together, they ushered in a period of great social change. Deng Xiaoping, showing great foresight, introduced the notion of building socialism with Chinese characteristics during his opening speech at the 12th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. In carrying out modernization, we must proceed from Chinese realities. We must integrate the universal truth of Marxism with the concrete realities of China, blaze a path of our own, and build a socialism with Chinese characteristics. That is the basic conclusion we have reached after reviewing our long history. The party's second generation of central collective leadership, with Deng Xiaoping at the core, established the party's basic line for the primary stage of socialism, appropriately defining what socialism was and how it was to be built. We see the third plenary session of the 11th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China as the first step in the Chinese path. Mainly because participants at the session resolutely discontinued the use of the once famous slogan, take class struggle as the key link, and because they established the party's basic line for the primary stage of socialism, that is to take economic development as the central task and to adhere to the four cardinal principles and the policy of reform and opening up, by proposing that the focus of the party's work should be shifted toward economic development and a policy of reform and opening up should be adopted. This basic line laid down the foundations of the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. At the top of a lotus hill in Shenzhen, 7 peaks form the shape of a lotus flower. Lush green pines and cypresses offer a dappled reprieve from the sun. A statue of Deng Xiaoping is tall and imposing, his eyes sharp, his moves hurried, as if he is once again touring the Pearl River Delta, one of China's most vibrant economic regions. In 1979 and again in 1986, Time magazine named Deng Xiaoping Man of the Year. The January 1st issue of 1979 ran the headline, Deng Xiaoping, Visions of a New China. Richard Harnick, Times bureau chief in Beijing, once said that Deng Xiaoping shook the world, and that no other world leader could match him in terms of what he had done. Jiang Zemin unveiled the statue of Deng Xiaoping on November 14, 2000. Hu Jintao paid homage to the statue of this great 20th century icon on April 12, 2003. Xi Jinping paid tribute to Deng Xiaoping in front of his bronze statue with a basket of flowers on December 8, 2012. In doing this, Deng's successors were not only showing the pioneer their respect, they were also making a solemn commitment to him. The Chinese economists of Deng Xiaoping's generation awakened to the realities of a new period. Recognizing that peace and development had become the themes of the times, they found China's place in history, defined the fundamental task under socialism, and blazed a brand new path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Jiang Zemin introduced the theory of the 3 represents. In his words, our party earned the people's support during the historical periods of revolution, development, and reform, because it always represented the requirement for developing advanced productive forces and orientation toward advanced culture and the fundamental interests of the overwhelming majority of the people in China. This thought spelled new requirements for the party and the state in terms of developments and changes in both the contemporary world and China. Moreover, in its own unique way, it told the Chinese what kind of party they had to build and how they were to go about building it. Hu Jintao noted, the scientific outlook on development reviews China's successful experience in reform and opening up, as well as in modernization over the past 20+ years, drawing upon the experiences gained by other countries in the process of development, revealing the objective laws of economic and social development, and reflecting our party's new understanding of the issue of development. This statement provides new answers to questions of a major importance, telling us what kind of development China must achieve in a new environment and how to achieve it. History has shown that Mao Zedong thought, Deng Xiaoping theory, The theory of the three represents and the scientific outlook on development were each created through the integration of Marxism with China's realities, are imbued with the same spirit and keep up with the times. With these theories, a once impoverished China set off on a journey of modernization driven by hard work and reform. The ship of reform arrives at a new port, from where it raises its sails again. The third plenary session of the 18th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China was held in Beijing from November the 9th to the 12th, 2013. The resolution of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China on some major issues concerning comprehensively deepening reform was adopted at the session. The scope and depth of the reforms laid out in the resolution are unprecedented, signaling the intensification of efforts to bring profound change to all sectors of China's economy and society. This document represents the party's well-designed guideline and a program of action for comprehensively deepening reform in a new period. All the third plenary sessions from the 11th to the 18th Party Central Committees have focused on reform and opening up. Reform and opening up has been shown to be a crucial choice deciding the destiny of contemporary China. It is a new revolution in its own right, carried out by the Chinese people under the leadership of the party in a new era. We are proud to say that China, whose people represent 1/5 of the world's population, probably created the greatest industrial legend of the late 20th century and early 21st century, when it sped along its path of modernization, when it became a veritable world factory, and when the production lines of its eastern coastline supplied goods to the entire world. It took China just 35 years to comprehensively promote market-based reform, industrialization, and urbanization, and bring itself into alignment with the rest of the world. The same process took developed Western countries a century to complete. In some cases, it took 2 or even 3. Thanks to 35 years of reform and opening up, China witnessed significant enhancements to its economic, scientific, technological, and national defense capabilities, as well as its overall national strength. Its GDP grew at an average annual rate of almost 10%, going from 364.5 billion RMB in 1978 to 56.9 trillion RMB in 2013, making it the world's second largest economy. Its per capita GDP surpassed $6,644. Its urbanization rate reached 53.7%, and its contribution to world economic growth exceeded 20%. Given considerable instability and uncertainty in the global economy, China has emerged as one of the most powerful engines behind global economic growth. We are now closer than ever to the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, and we are more confident and more capable of attaining this goal than ever before. As former U.S. Secretary of State, Dr. Henry Kissinger wrote in his masterpiece, Diplomacy, "In every century, there seems to emerge a country with the power, the will, and the intellectual and the moral impetus to shape the entire international system." On a 100-year road of turmoil, dreamed a nation of strength and revival. According to one philosopher, one of the signs that a country is on the rise is that it gains the ability to create dreams, and its people begin to speak confidently about their dreams. People with dreams can go farther whilst being more down to earth. My dream is a higher income and a happy family. Our dream is to send our child to college. My dream is to drill through the top of the Antarctic ice cap to get an ice core that is over 1 million years old, so we can reconstruct accurate records of climate change over the past 1 million years. This means we can push global climate records back by another 100,000 to 200,000 years. Doing my bit so that China can become a leading maritime country, that is my dream. China today is advancing rapidly with grand goals in sight. However, as the saying goes, the last leg of the journey is the most grueling. China has major challenges to overcome if it is to achieve its 2 centenary goals and realize the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. The country has now entered the deep end of reform and a critical stage of development. But on our journey of socialist modernization, we have what it takes to meet unprecedented challenges and stand up to difficulties rarely encountered in other parts of the world. I will mount strong wings and break heavy waves, and set my towering sail straight and bridge the raging sea. A nation without dreams is to be pitied. A nation that has great dreams but lacks the spirit of steadfastness and dedication to realize them has no future. Self-reliance and perseverance are in the blood of the Chinese nation. Facing the gunboats of Western powers, the Chinese nation rose up in arms. Facing the difficult task of reconstruction after the founding of the People's Republic of China, the Chinese people worked with great diligence and stamina. Facing difficulties and challenges on the path of modernization, the Chinese people forged ahead in high spirits, holding fast to the Chinese dream. Like the rising sun, a dream that was unthinkable more than 150 years ago, and still beyond reach 6 decades ago, has now emerged completely on the horizon in the east, casting an intense glow upon the Chinese people.
闪耀着光荣梦想。